It's Friday. You know, the old saying goes, today is Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no shit to do. Well, we got something to do. So it's going to be a little interesting for today's episode. Now, if you guys are big fans of ChocoPro, you guys are in the right channel. So today, we're going to catch up with the recent events from this month of August with numbers 465, 466, 467, and 468. Now, nothing too special whatsoever. However, of course, we are going to witness various wrestlers, not only from the ChocoPro promotion, but also other wrestlers coming to stop by and have some interesting matches in the Chocolate Square. And of course, we do see our current champions making their presence known, but no challenges have been made yet. But it could happen; it's bound to happen sooner or later. And then, of course, as always, we'll cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been going on in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews, not only from promotions only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jappers. Let's call the meeting into order. So, as I said before, it's all about ChocoPro, so we're catching up with all the remaining shows of this month. So let's begin, of course, with number 465. Okay, ChocoPro number 465, and it took place, of course, on the 2nd of August in Ichigai Square. Now, of course, we did see Chi Koshikawa opening up the show. As you all know, Chi is out due to an injury, but of course, she has done the opening of the show as always, giving the info of the matches and, of course, what to expect and the greetings. So, nothing too special on that. Now, our first match, we had a 6-person tag match. Team number 1, we have Kao Hiromi, Hiro Iwata, and Shota Kawakami taking on Tokiko Kihara, Balanaki, and Meishuga. Also, those two are known as the Best Bros. So you probably know how that's going to be. Now, of course, factors you can tell from this. If you look at the Best Bros along with Tokiko, they seem like they have the most experience in their team. You look at Kaho, who is of course doesn't have that much experience, but not to mention her size has always been the factor. Hiromi, who's a bit more experienced in Kaho, but not in the same advance, of course, as team number 2, of course. Shato Kawakami, well, not much about him, but you probably can tell that it's still on the learning curve from my standing. But of course, we will see some moments between Kaho and Mei because they're like little siblings that try to get in each other's nerves. Have you guys seen that? Because of course Mei has often, made fun of her throughout when they first met, but in the end it was of course a triple pinfall. All three, Tokiko and the Best Bros, applied a triple pinfall on all three with Kaho, Hiroi, and Shota, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they picked up the win. Our next match, we have Sayaka Obihiro, also known as Obi, teaming up with someone many of you may or may not have heard of, Jonathan Johnson. I personally know of him from the Thailand promotion setup. He made his presence known, and they take on Munetatsu Nakamura and Hagane Shino. So, of course, nothing very special about this one whatsoever, but of course, one thing is clear when it comes to each strength. I mean, Sayaka Obihiro is a very unique wrestler with her Obi Magic's flexibility. Jonathan Johnson, well, not much. I've seen him from Step or Set Up. Monotatsu Nakamura, well, he's from Gambari Pro. Hagane Shino, freelancer. So you all know the strengths of each person. But the way this match ended was Hagane Shino applying a submission move on Obi, and just like that, Obi had no choice but to tap out. Now, our next match, of course, we have Soy teaming up once again with her tag partner, Miya Yatsuba. They take on Shun Shiru and, of course, one half of the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions, Makoto. So you probably can tell certain factors of this. I mean, we have seen Soy and Miya, of course, they have established a great chemistry as a tag team. Shun and Makoto, well, we have seen them teamed up in trios before, but in tag team, that's something very rare. But I'm sure whatever that applied in their trios could work also in tag team, which is obvious. Now, of course, a common factor it would be if they pin Makoto, of course, because you probably would think, oh, they would get another opportunity of the tag belts, which obviously they tried, but they failed. But unfortunately, the case happened when Chonchu applied the win, when he applied the crucifix on Miya, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now for Anjankin tournament, well, this one went all the way up with Kaho Hiromi, who actually picked up the win, but as for the runner-up, it was none other than Hagane Shino. So basically, Kaho got the piece of chocolate once again. So that's pretty much it what happened in number 465 in ChocoPro. So let's move on with number 466. Okay, ChocoPro number 466 in Ichigai Square. This took place on the 10th of August. We saw, of course, in the opening, the current general manager, Aoi Kizuki. She wasn't doing the usual opening because she, let's just say she's trying to get her referee skills on track for whatever reason. She has done referee with ChocoPro recently, but her trying to get it in camera, that's kind of interesting. But the person who gave the greetings and the infos in the entire ChocoPro show was once again Chiko Shikawa, which that's what she did. But let's get to the first match, of course. Our first match, we have Kaho Hiromi teaming up with Hiroyi Yawada. They take on Shin Dragon, Shin Suzuki, and Chonchiru. Now, of course, you all know Shin Dragon, former tag champions, not to mention they are well established as a tag team. That's always been a great factor in that many ways. But I can see that Kaho and Hiroyi have been really, really establishing their tag team continuity, because we have seen how they can grow in tag teams. I mean, you're trying to get your footing in. Which is, of course, something. It's a progress if you're planning to establish as a tag team. But of course, when it comes to who wins this match, it's the most likely the one with the bigger experience, which is, of course, Shin Dragon. When, of course, there was a combination where they put Kaho right on top of Hiromi, and of course on Hiroyi, and of course Chonshiru applied a jackknife, and then of course Shin kind of made sure that they blocked their way to ensure they get the pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And this is something new that I never seen these guys do. So I have to say it was a very ingenious way to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have Tokiko Kirihara and Minoru Fujita. Coming up like they look like they're coming from a hike. Probably coming from Mount Fuji, which is kind of interesting. They face against Soy and, of course, the other half of the Asian Dream Tag Team Champions, Sayaka, not Makoto. Sayaka, of course, I haven't seen it for a while, but yes. Factors you probably can guess that, yeah, if they pin Sayaka, then most likely someone could challenge her for the belt, mostly coming from Tokiko and Minoru Fujita. Now, of course, we know that Tokiko has some striking capabilities and a bit of the submission tactics. Minoru Fujita is a bit more of aggressive, hardcore type. But in the end, of course, it was Sayaka that picked up the win on Tokiko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Manatatsu Nakamura, Shota Kawakami. They take on Miya Yatsuba and Balinaki. Now, of course, with Nakamura and Kawakami, no secret they have been teaming up. I mean, I feel like much like what we're seeing with Kaho and Hiroyi, they are establishing their footing as a tag team. I mean, they're not yet there as a team that are well established, but they're growing. But when it comes to the other team, Miya and Balinaki, we know they have teamed up before, but mostly in trios. And of course, that could apply in tag team in every way. But not to mention, they do have some necessary experience for both sides. So the obvious question, how this was going to go down. Well, I have to say Miya did her job, tried to distract, of course, Nakamura away from, of course, saving his partner, giving time for Balinaki to apply a face plant onto Kawakami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Balinaki and Miya Yatsuba picked up the win. Now for our Junket tournament, this ended, of course, with Chi picking up the win. Even though she's not wrestling, at least she gets to do the rock, paper, scissors. But for the runner-up, it's Miya Yatsuba. So that's practically what happened on this particular day. So let's move on to the third one, and I believe that is number 467. We continue with more with ChocoPro. Now we are with number 467 in Ninja Square. This took place on the 16th of August. Now, as always, for opening the show, we have Chiko Shikawa giving the fan base the lowdown of the matches and the greetings. So, as you know, she did her job, so let's get started with the first match. Once again, we have, of course, Kaho and Hiroyi Yawada teaming up once again. They take on the Best Bros. Now, of course, obviously, for those who follow ChocoPro, it's obvious to you, not only to me, to you, that the Best Bros was going to win. But, of course, the one thing that I never stop getting enough is when Kaho gets in Mei Suruga's nerve. Now, some of you may question why. Well, look, Mei Suruga likes to pick on Kaho for obvious reasons. One, you look at her as she's the annoying little sister. Obviously, they're not blood related, but you know what I mean. Of course, Kaho has the same kind of spirit as Mei Suruga, but Mei, she's a bit more like, I don't give a damn type, you know what I mean? So, I mean, Balinaki is a big fan of Kaho, but he has to put up with Mei. Obviously, because they're tag partners and they're Best Bros. That's the reason. But, of course, as always, how this one's going to go. Well, as I said, it's obvious what's going to go to the Best Bros. It was Mei Suga that picked up the win when she was on the shoulders of Balinaki, and then she applied a moonsault on Hirohi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Soy once again teaming up with Miya Tsuba. They take on Tokiko Kihara and Sayaka. Now, of course, as you all know, I mentioned when it comes to tag team, you talk about teams that have been cohesive, very unified. You know, Soy and Miya Tsuba, we have seen how unified they are, how cohesive they've been, but they're yet to pick up their biggest win. It's, of course, winning the tag belt. But they're facing a team that, of course, is a makeshift, but they have teamed up on obvious occasions, and not to mention, number 2, they are the 4th generations of ChocoPro, under, of course, the tutelage of Emi Sakura. Now, Tokiko and Sayaka first came across, they first trained together when they first arrived, of course, and that's always a good thing to see. We have seen them team up, but on rare occasions. But you can tell because they trained together, they sparred together, they wouldn't know exactly what they're going to do to team up when it comes to a team like Soy and Miya. But it was, of course, Sayaka that picked up the win when she applied Tokiko, my bad, when she applied, like, it somewhat looked like a Cobra clutch or something, I'm not sure, and it kind of onto Miya, and just like that, Miya had no choice but to tap out. Now, our next match is our only fully males match. We have Monetatsu Nakamura taking on Minoru Fujita. Of course, now nothing too special about this match whatsoever. Obviously, Monetatsu Nakamura is a very talented wrestler. If you guys haven't seen him yet, he is from part of the Gambari Pro promotion. And as for Minoru Fujita, well, obviously you guys seen him in various promotions, not only in DDT and Gambari, but mostly in the independents. So basically, you probably can see that. But the one thing that I think many of us expected is someone has to walk out as a winner. But unfortunately, that did not come into fruition because the match ended after a time limit draw of 15 minutes. So nobody wins, nobody loses. So that's how the whole thing ends. Now, as for a Jonkin tournament, our winner, of course, is none other than the Apple herself, or as some people call her, the Apple Goblin. Me, I like to call her the Little Sly Devil, Mei Suga. She actually won the chocolate, but the runner-up, who actually she beat to get to the finals, is none other than Tokiko Kihara. So that pretty much what happened for number 467. So let's do our final ChocoPro show, and this one is number 468. Okay, final review. ChocoPro number 468. This took place, of course, at Nichigaya Square on the 21st of August. Now, normally we would see Chi opening up the show the last couple of ones we've been seeing. However, today in this particular one, we see, of course, Balinaki as always. Now, Balinaki is no stranger when it comes to opening the show, giving the greetings and the info of the matches. So, obviously, he's already comfortable with that. Of course, obviously, he was going to participate, so that's nothing new because, you know, that's exactly what he always does. He just participates in the matches. But not today because, yeah, he is teaming up. But we'll get to that. But our first match, we have singles action. We have Kaho Hiromi taking on Soy. Now, of course, Soy, I have to say, she has a bit of the, the powerhouse type. But when it comes to Kao, she has to rely on her speed to not get knocked out by Soy. That's always been a bigger factor. So she tries to steer clear of her, try to pull some childish maneuvers on her, but none of it worked, unfortunately, because she ended up being pinned by Soy. 1, 2, 3. It was done. Now, our next match, we have Monetatsu Nakamura teaming up with Balinaki. They take on Shin Dragon, consistent of Shin Suzuki and Shon Shiru. Now, keep in mind, I mention all the time about tag teams. When it comes to that, you have to have a great chemistry. great unification, and of course cohesive. Now you look at Shin Dragon, they do have that. They have a good cohesion. Now when it comes to Nakamura and Bali and Aki, you all know this is a makeshift team, but they can try to communicate as well as possible and try to establish some maneuvers. But you have to ask yourself, how would that do? Because the way it went down on this particular day, unfortunately, things did not go according to plan for both Bali and Aki and Monotatsu Nakamura, because once again we saw that same maneuver where they pinned Nakamura, and then of course Nakamura was already flat on the ground, Balanaki was right on top, then Chonshiru applied a jackknife, and then Shin Suzuki tried to block, make sure no one gets out. Later, of course, they won by pinfall, just like that. Now, our main event, we have Hiro Yawada. She teams up with Rina Yamashita. They take on Sayaka Obihiro, aka Obi. And she teams up with our current Super Agent champion, Mei Shruga. Now, of course, when it comes to Mei, we know she's a bit more tempered. We know she likes to play dirty games. Well, not dirty, but you know what I mean. But she does whatever it takes to win. But in the end, of course, we did see some interesting maneuvers. I mean, Hiroyi seemed like she had this one almost in her control. But unfortunately, Mei Shruga was able to counter it with an inside cradle. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So, Mei Shruga and Obi picked up the win. Now for our Jonkin tournament, the winner is none other than Rina Yamashita. She looks very excited, very happy that she won. But the person she defeated to get to the finals was none other than Soy. So practically, that's how things end with number 468. Now, there is going to be a 469 soon. Hopefully, I get the chance to see it when it comes out. But as of right now, we'll end things here with ChocoPro and move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. Yoshi Promotion, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling has announced for their upcoming big event next month on the 20th of September, Wrestle Princess 6. Now, what's interesting, they announced for the first time in 7 years, Priscilla Kelly makes her return. Now, for those who know who she is, you know who she is. But for those who don't know who she is, she was formerly known as Gigi Dolan in NXT. So that's right, she'll be making her way straight to, of course, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. So that's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. And now our final update in the upcoming events, Jersey Championship Wrestling with Possession, that will take place on October 26th at the Mecca at Ridgeway Park. They announced a very special invitational tournament called Luna Invitational. 2 names have been announced to participate. We have Mara Sade, formerly known as Jakara Jackson, and number 2 is Nicole Matthews. So that's pretty much for what's going on in the upcoming events. Let's go on to, of course, to some developments. Now, on the Fightful Select reports, 2 things have been announced. Swerve Strickland, apparently he's been dealing with a meniscus tear since 2019, which is not good. So, I mean, if he was injured, he should have taken care of this a while ago. Hopefully he does. Now, Big Bill and Brian Keith, if you all know, they were known as the Learning Tree, but now it's been confirmed that they are no longer billed as that, so it's just Big Bill and Brian Keith. For those who know this already, CEO, yep, Mercedes Moné is now 9 belts. So she just recently won a belt in Rev Pro. As you know, they are in London for the Forbidden Door. And this one is the Discovery Wrestling Scottish Women's Championship, and she defeated Emerson Jane for that. So basically, she has 9 belts in her possession. So now you know what's going on there. Now, if you guys saw recently, there's been some interesting developments in New Japan with a former faction that was once known as Kojima-gun. Now, if you guys are not familiarized with this faction was formed with Satoshi Kojima, Taichi Takamichinoku, and someone you guys know, MVP. So basically, they were in fact until Kojima-gun was later renamed as Suzuki-gun when Minoru Suzuki first appeared. Taichi actually talked about this um, during a little get-together. It seems like we will see a Kojima-gun reunion, which is very interesting. I never actually seen this group together, but I know about their. And this is what he said on his X account. Kojima Army, tentative broadcast. Thank you for the greater number of viewers than expected, and for participating in the chat. To everyone who joined the trial, well, after 15 years, we had not acknowledged each other's faults. For now, we reach a reconciliation. From now on August 24th, we have no choice but to show a perfection polished Kojima Army, or maybe that's impossible. So I mean, people, I think right now, from what I can see, they will love to see a Kojima Army, Kojima-gun reunited. You know, they're all members of the Huntai thing, so that's like a sub faction in some way. But we will now see what happens. Now, Tony Khan actually talked about, of course, Alex Windsor, and this is what he was broadcast on the Forbidden Door media call. Tony Khan says that he already sees Alex Windsor as a top player in AEW, AEW's women's division. AEW has quickly built her huge focus promotion with looking at the future of the company. TK says that she delivered time and time again in both singles and tags. Windsor is absolutely a top star right now. Now, do you guys agree with him? Me, I have to say we have seen how much she's growing in AEW, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time until she gets her first AEW championship. But the real question is, will she get that with the TBS title at Forbidden Door? That's something we probably have to wait and see. Now, two things have been announced with, of course, with Will Ospreay. As you know, Will Ospreay had this thing with the injury that he obtained. You know, possibly, you know, the legitimacy about that. And this happened on the takedown at these. At the Sports Illustrated, and this is what he said: "I am compromised. I got a few hernia disc pushing against my spinal cord, which is affecting a couple of my nerves. But I can do stuff, and I can perform one last time before I need to get it corrected. I have a huge medical team around me, and guys, that works with AEW. They would not allow me to go in during if it's a huge percentage of a risk of me getting hurt." So he's fully aware that there are some risks. So he has the medical team on his corner to ensure things will go on. Now, we do not end things here when it comes to Will Ospreay. Apparently, he went on to this thing called the Screen of the Scripts. And for those who know this, he's a big fan of the Assassin's Creed games. So am I. If you guys ever noticed, they did the whole Assassin's Creed thing in All In, which was pretty interesting to see. Apparently, he's saying that he would love to play an assassin in Netflix in the upcoming live-action adaptation of Assassin's Creed. And this is what he said: "I think there are I think they got like an Assassin's Creed and a Netflix TV show kind of. I really want to throw my name in the hat there because I've been doing a bunch of advertising for them. I've been doing a bunch of promotions for them, and we have done wonderful numbers for them. And the advertising I've done with Shadows, with both the entrants, was brilliant for them. So I can do that. I really love to throw my name in the hat to be an assassin in the TV show that might be coming out." I mean, yeah, I can picture him doing something like that. I mean, if they did wanted him to advertise Assassin's Creed Shadows, is no doubt they should. I mean, why not? I mean, he does play the role very well. I mean, he does have the pose to do an Assassin's Creed thing, but hopefully they do. I would love to see that. I mean, we know AEW are very flexible when it comes to wrestlers that are involved in TV shows or movies. I mean, you got Samoa Joe doing Twisted Metal. What else? That's pretty much what we do know on that. Now, a very interesting thing has come around. It turns out Tony Khan was very interested last year. If you guys remember, for the main event, it was for the AEW World Title. Swerve faced Will Ospreay. But it seems that Tony Khan had one person in particular that he wanted. Nope, never mind. Wrong. My bad. I looked at the wrong Khan here. My bad. Tony Khan was talking about AAA. My bad. So he said he gave a speech to the talent before AAA and told them that he wanted to make it clear that WWE is not there to take over. Now, of course, many people can say that's a crap like that. This is what some people say. They're only there to assist them to being seen globally and ultimately put their money into all of their pockets. A couple of wrestlers afterwards saying that they were helpful, it's true, but noted that the new restrictions in their contract, they are allowed to take a small booking in Mexico, but the contracts do not allow them to take U.S. bookings the same night in the city they have worked regularly, what would make them 20 times the amount. So it sounds like AAA talent is not allowed to work independent lucha or regular shows in the U.S., but don't have restrictions in Mexico. So what they're saying is this: many of you may have seen some wrestlers come from to Mexico to the States. So what they're saying is they don't want AAA talent to participate in shows in the United States anymore. I mean, the independent shows in Mexico, that's fine, but not in the U.S., which is kind of weird. We have seen wrestlers in AAA who have been participating in independent shows, but having them not showing up, that's kind of strange. I mean, they feel like this is a very weird restriction. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think WWE are really putting a bit of a control? I feel like they're not controlling, but more like trying to keep them at bay or something. And keep in mind, like, they don't want any talent to make the jump to AEW or something. I'm not sure, but that's pretty much what I would think. But no. But what do you guys tell me? Leave a comment below about that. But as of right now, I say let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Collision, and I believe they're in Glasgow for that. We're going to have some interesting debut taking place on that one. I think some of you already heard about what happened. And of course, this is their go-home show before the following day, which is, of course, the Forbidden Door. But as we speak, we do have, of course, the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix by Stardom. They're about to wrap up their event. I'm looking forward to see who will walk out. Now remember, we have Sayuri Anu, Momo Watanabe, Azumi, and Rina. They are all the final 4. And this is going to be more of the semifinals of sorts of the respective blocks, and then the finals. So I'm looking forward to see how this is going to roll up. And anything else, we'll go from there. But as of right now, we'll say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.